let's talk about the day in the life of Malcolm Gage. Coming in, you wake up every morning, you come to this amazing establishment. What's entailed in your day, sir?
Typically, my day starts with obviously working out. Before I ever get here, the biggest thing for me is that's my moment to kind of get out, relax, release the stresses of the day before I ever start them, and just really get my mind right. That's extremely important to me. A day in a life is hectic at this store. One of the things that I've been really proud of is the fact that this store has an amazing culture. It's got an amazing team. And, I've always believed that as a manager, as a director, as a leader, regardless of what it is, it's true servant leadership, right? And if you have the right people in place, there's not a lot you need to really worry about. And a day in a life for me is really working with my directors, my managers at this store, the different members, and understanding that I have the right team in place. And there's not a lot that I really have to do other than really promote, inspire, and drive for excellence that this team achieves daily as a leader of the store. A day in a life for me is really working with our members. It's one-on-one. It's being side by side. Nobody's greater than the sum of the whole here. And for me, that's what it's about. It's coming here and doing everything we can, not only for the surrounding Arlington community, but also at the same time for our members, to ensure that every day when they wake up in the morning, just like I do myself, they look forward to coming to this place. And I think that's what's important. You got to enjoy what you do. And if you get up every morning and you don't do that, why go?
Absolutely. How do you define a leader?
I define a leader as, I mentioned servant leadership earlier. And the important part about servant leadership is being there to support the people that you lead. I've always believed that it's one thing to have a title and it's another thing to be a leader. And when you're a true leader, people will walk through a wall of fire for you. And I think we've all worked for those individuals at times that you walk away from it going, that person's a manager, they're not a leader. And the way I look at it is that you have to live and be a living example to what your expectations are. And for me, it's always been, when I got to the point in my life where I could get to this role, I wanted to be that leader where people go, this is somebody that I can talk to. This is somebody that is in the front lines with me as well. And this is the person that I know I will do everything in my power to do the best job I can because they have my back. And I've had those leaders in my life, in my career, and in my tenure that I didn't feel had that. And for me, when I finally got to this role, it was absolutely imperative that that was the case. And I think many of the members and everybody that's in this store will tell you is that, the one thing they can say is that he's real, he's never gonna tell you a lie, and he's always gonna have your back when you're right. And if you're not right, then obviously there's the coaching and the things that we need to do to improve those situations. But for me, it's always about being ethical, making sure you're doing what's right, and also being that person that really is on the sidelines with everybody else. It's a title, but at the end of the day, you can't manage based on a title. You have to be a true leader. And a leader is the person that everybody looks at and goes, okay, he's right here with me just like I am. And that's what it's about.
Yes, sir. How long have you been at this location, sir?
I've been at this store since September of 2019. I've been with Park Place for now. This will be my 15th year with the company.
Awesome.
And it's been fantastic. Obviously going through the transition and getting bought out by Asbury, it was a challenging time. It's always the unknown. But for me, the best thing has been, being with an organization that's now a Fortune 500 company that has stood by this dealership group, understanding that, we have led the way in many of the luxury segments. And they've been phenomenal. I would say it's probably one of the best things I've experienced in my time, with Park Place, because it has been some change and it's been different, but sometimes change is good. And for us and our members here, it's been a really fantastic experience so far. So I'm really looking forward to, continuing the tenure of this career with this organization.
Being that we are here at Park Place Motor Cars, located in Arlington, what's your favorite model of Mercedes?
That's a wide question. I'll tell you this. Mercedes has gone through a drastic renaissance with redoing almost all of their product line. And, there's not a bad Mercedes on the ground right now. And I think, You go back several years, you might be able to pick a few that they could have done a little better. But I would say with my favorite right now is probably the GLE Coupe. I wasn't a huge fan of that vehicle when I wasn't with Mercedes, but typically you aren't when you're not with the product. But the GLE Coupe is fantastic. They got it right. And I say that Mercedes, from a standpoint of their interior design, their exterior design, they are on fire right now. There's a reason they're the luxury leader, sales leader right now, and they own that crown because the interiors, the technology is class leading. The exteriors are fantastic, and they're just solid vehicles. It's one of the safest cars in the world. And Mercedes has a reputation for being the leader of the luxury segment. So, it's one of the most recognizable automotive brands in the world. And there's a reason because of it, And that's my favorite. I enjoy it, but they're all my favorite. I like them all.
I'm a 560, 600 kind of guy.
Okay.
Yes.
S-Class?
Yes,
We can
sir.
get you one. We can make that happen.
I know you can. The G-Wagon was very interesting to me at a point in time. Like you said, there's not a bad model.
Right.
At all. But if things go the way they continue to go this year, we're coming to see you.
Oh, I'm waiting on you. Let's go. Let's bring it. The G-Wagon is an interesting vehicle. It has withstood the test of time. And that's one of the few vehicles that I have in my lineup that, you're probably talking a 2-3 year wait list to get one, only because it's just, they did such a great job with the redesign of the interior and the structural changes they made on it. And it's a tank, and it is a phenomenal vehicle from a standpoint of you get the best of that luxury world, but if you decide you want to go out in the weekend and climb a mountain, you can do that too.
Out of all of the awards that you've been blessed to receive, the positions that you accumulated throughout your tenure, what's next for Malcolm Gage?
That's a really loaded question. I think the big things for me in my eyes is the continued growth with Park Place as an organization, but also Asbury as a whole, but also as what I would call newer generation of general managers. How do you redefine what automotive retailing looks like in the 21st century, and going forward? One of the biggest things that we have as an initiative right now is digital retailing. And it's a new, very innovative process called Click Lane, where somebody can sit on their couch and buy a car, right? But you also have to ask the question, how does that change what you do at a very local level that is, in the store, sales consultant to, client? What's the difference here, right? And I think as you look at some of these new digital tools and these new ways to what we call, digital retailing and redefining this business, what part can I play in driving the thought process in how do we apply this and make this different, but also make it as an enjoyable experience for everybody involved, And I think that's where we have to be. I think that's one of the things that as an organization, Park Place as a whole, we've done really well, is being proactive, thinking forward versus being reactive to the market. And it's proved very well for us. So, I'll continue to be that person that's being very proactive, not only for my own career, but also for those people that, I lead in the store that I'm in charge of. So, I really don't know what it holds, but, it's in God's hands. I'll leave it at that. And I'll say that, whatever is on that journey, I'm definitely prepared for it.
Mr. Gage, how do you define luxury?
It's funny. I ask the same question when we are interviewing people. Luxury is the culmination of experience, right? And I say that luxury embodies not necessarily always materialistic. It embodies the service that you receive. It embodies, what's provided to you, and it embodies how it makes you feel, right? To me, luxury has always been an experience versus an item,
Correct.
And, I look at it for myself when we travel, when I buy things, it's not necessarily always the item or the cost. It comes down to the experience. You can go somewhere and not spend a lot and still have a very luxurious experience,
Correct.
But it's how it truly makes you feel. And to me, luxury is the embodiment of experience.
Is it safe to say that you are the savior of luxury dealerships?
You know what? If you want to say that, I'll take it. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to say that I'm the savior of myself. I think that's the best way to put it, right? I think that what an individual brings to an organization and what they bring to a business is what's important. And I think anybody that tags themselves as the savior of something specific other than themselves is probably delusional. And I say that because that no one individual can be the savior of someone else, right? You can be the savior of yourself, but you can also give thought process on how to change and how to create change and how to drive change. But if you label yourself as the savior of anything, then you're probably labeling yourself as a little bit more of a deity than an individual. And that's my viewpoint on making sure that, you never put yourself above others, especially as a leader. And you will never get anywhere by pulling yourself up out of that basket and not pulling somebody else with you. And I think that's what the mindset of some leaders is that I've always called it a crab in a bucket syndrome, right? You throw 20 crabs in a bucket, none of them are ever going to make it to the top because one of them is always clawing and grabbing and pulling another one down. Like, what are you doing? And I think as leaders, you have to understand that when you get to the top, the only way you can continue that success is if you pull somebody else up with you. That's the only way it's going to work.
Mr. Gage, you are the true definition of a leader. We thank you for everything that you've contributed to the luxury industry in regards to automobiles, your knowledge and your passion to pursue perfection. Having a team, customer service, just everything that you embody. We thank you for that. And if there's anything that Addison Suite Magazine and Members Only can do to continue to fuel that, you let us know. But we thank you so much for everything, sir.
And I thank you all as well. I think you continue to do the work that you're doing. You all have a phenomenal team. Everybody that is working on really trying to bring light to not only the amazing businesses and leaders in this area, but also the community as a whole. So keep doing what you're doing. That's what makes the difference, right?
We will, sir.
Absolutely.
We thank you so much for your time. We know you got to go out there and get that money, sir.
We got cars to sell. We got to get it done.
Let's make it happen. But for sure, when I'm ready for my 560, sir, I'm coming.
I'm putting one in the system right now with your name on it.
Can I come take your black card?
Oh, yeah, you got it. Come on, let's go.
Love it, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.